So Ashtead is a large equipment rental company. It buys equipment in bulk and it rents it to business customers for industrial and commercial purposes. It's in the UK, in Canada and in the US. And it's equipment you see all over the country in the UK because it's the largest equipment rental company here. It has cranes, diggers, other equipment, all green coloured. But it also rents things like film studio equipment. By renting equipment, a company will save money unless they're using it on a very regular basis. If you buy equipment and you're not using it very much, it's just sitting in the corner losing value. And also it has to be maintained, and that's expensive. Also, the rental companies like Ashtead, the big rental companies, buy equipment much more cheaply than an individual company would be able to buy it. And then finally, there's a big environmental benefit to renting equipment. All of that unused equipment sitting around is very environmentally inefficient because it all has to be made. And a rental company will use the equipment much more efficiently, so less equipment actually is produced in the first place. Well, Ashtead's biggest market, as I mentioned, is the US. That's where it makes over 90% of its profit. That's currently a $65 billion market in the core rental category. It's growing quickly though because more and more categories are becoming available to rent. So for example, air conditioning equipment, floor cleaning equipment, they never used to be rented, but now they are. So it's a market which is growing. Ashtead only has a 13% share of the market, even though it's the second biggest player. So it's got quite a long way to go. Well, there's two companies in the sector that we think are investable. United Rentals and Ashtead, the two biggest players. They're both good companies. We would be happy to invest in either of them at the right price. Why do we prefer Ashtead? Well, it has a slightly more predictable strategy of making small bolt-on acquisitions, whereas United Rentals tend to make large acquisitions, which only come every few years. So we prefer the Ashtead strategy. It also has a high return on capital, probably mainly as a result of that acquisition strategy. And then finally, we like the management team there. We spent a lot of time with them and they're pursuing a very clear strategy with a lot of energy and focus.